RugbyRenegade.com, the #1 online strength and conditioning program for rugby. Are you ready to get bigger, stronger, fitter, and faster and dominate your opposition? Welcome to the Rugby Renegade podcast, where we build machines.
Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Rugby Renegade podcast. My name is Jamie Bain and today I interview strength and conditioning coach at the Blue Bulls in South Africa, Ghafoer Luckan. It's a really good podcast. It's got a really good balance of kind of insight into, you know, the life of an S&C coach and some of the work he does. And then also some really good take-home points, some great stuff about training to put on size and doing it the right way. So have a listen and let us know what you think. Hi Gaff, welcome to the Rugby Renegade podcast. Great to have you on. Why don't we start by you just telling our listeners a little bit about your background and how you got into strength and conditioning in rugby.
Hi Jamie, thanks for having me. My strength and conditioning background. I studied back in 2004. I completed my studies in sports and exercise science, or that's when I started. And then I finished my degree, my undergrad degree in 2008. And then in 2005, I got selected for the Western Province Under 21 side, and that's where I met the current conditioning coach of the Stormers at the moment, Stefan de Toy. And yeah, I think that's where everything started. That's where I decided to pursue a career in strength and conditioning. I learned quite a lot from him. I was quite interested in his methods and the way he did things. So yeah, I would say it started with meeting up with Steph, and then my first job as a strength and conditioning coach, I would say started in 2007. I played for a local club, a semi-professional club in Cape Town, and they approached me and asked if I could do the strength and conditioning for the club as well. So I was kind of like a player coach with them. And then once I graduated in my honors degree in sports and exercise science, I took up a contract. Provincial contract with one of the smaller unions in the country, and there again I learned a lot from the conditioning coach at the Leopards. It's one of the smaller unions in the country. I think I was there for about 2 years, 2 seasons before I came back to Cape Town. Played a bit of local club rugby again, and then the club I played for was head coach. He started a rugby academy for boys in school, in high school, and he approached me, asked me if I wanted to head up the conditioning aspect of his academy. And there again, there's a bit of experience there as well as a strength and conditioning coach. And then I traveled quite a bit, and then shortly after that I took up another contract up in George, a place called George in the Western Cape, for the SWD Eagles. And I played there about for a year and a half. And then at the end of that year, SA Rugby decided to go out to the small unions and develop rugby in those regions, and opened up rugby academies in those regions. And and then the coach of the academy at the time asked me if I would be interested in taking a job. That would obviously mean that I had to retire from rugby, from playing the game. It was a quite difficult decision, but I think back now, I'd say that it's probably one of the better decisions I've made. And so I was at the academy for about from end of 2013 to about 2015. At the same time, because I worked for SA Rugby, I got opportunities to work with the SA school side, with the national school side, and with the SA Under 20 side. working with the current conditioning coach of the Springboks now at the moment, Dr. Warren Adams. He was the conditioning coach of the juniors at the time. So learning again a lot from him. And then in 2014, 2015, I took over the senior side, the side that I played for, the SWD Eagles, the professional side. So I took over the conditioning with the senior side. And then, in 2016, beginning of this year, I got opportunity to move down to Pretoria with the Bulls. And that's where I find myself now with the Bulls. I'm going into my second at the moment.
Yeah, and so tell us a little bit about your role at the Bulls, and what are kind of some of the challenges you got working in Super Rugby. And I know you do a lot with some of the academy players, trying to bring them up through.
My role at the moment, past season that passed, and this upcoming season. Obviously, the Super Rugby side is that's the main side. That's the side we want to be, who needs to be successful for the union. So we are about 4 trainers, 4 strength and conditioning coaches, and we all focus on the Super Rugby side, especially during the upcoming pre-season now. Trying to have smaller groups and one trainer with like 4 or 5 players in the gym, as opposed to one trainer with the whole squad. So more one-on-one type training with the players, making sure that they do the exercises right, making sure that we give them full attention. So that's my role with the Super Rugby side, and then also with the juniors. The season that passed, I worked with the Blue Bulls under 21 side, and if I could say the challenges, but especially with working with youngsters, a lot of them coming from schools, not being used to a professional environment, so getting them used to training 3-4 sessions a day, as opposed to just the one after school, for example. Eating properly, getting their diets up to standard, making sure that they're getting enough nutrition before and after training sessions, making sure that the guys know the importance of recovery after sessions, So for me, it's just those are some of the challenges, I would say, especially working now with the juniors, but I found that education, constantly teaching them about the importance of things like eating well for rugby, if you want to be a professional rugby player, or recovery techniques after training. I found that education is probably the main thing, and slowly but surely, I think that we're getting somewhere with them, for the youngsters. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think education is pretty key. Sometimes you take for granted that that they should know it all, but obviously, especially in your environment, they're coming through into a new, high performance environment, and you've got to teach them quite a lot to get them hit the ground running, so to speak. Now, we always try and get kind of coaches' sort of S&C philosophy when we interview them on the podcast, and it's sometimes kind of difficult. So maybe the best way to start is kind of what are the sort of fundamentals in the way you do things?
Fundamentals. For me, it's just about do the basics really, really well, and and to be consistent in whatever you do. I find that too many times, in the past, personally myself, when I just started out, trying to do too many things at one time, instead of that, doing that, for me, it's just about doing the basics really well. If you want to become a faster rugby player, do sprint training. If you want to be stronger, make sure you're lifting as heavy as possible. Obviously, technique before load, but those are all the basics. Instead of trying to do too many things in the past, I've tried to do a bit of CrossFit and then a bit of strongman flipping tires, or 20 or 10 to 15 different exercises in one training program, because you want to keep the players stimulated. But as I've grown with experience, I found that if you do the basics really well, for example, squatting, the guys can squat every day. I'll be happy as long as their technique is sound. You have steady progression and increasing intensity steadily, and the guys are activating the posterior chain while squatting, getting the correct depth while squatting, and basically it's getting the full benefit of the specific exercise. If they're doing that every day or every second day, twice, thrice a week, they'll become better in that specific exercise, instead of jumping from different 4 or 5 different squat variations. So yeah, for me, it's the basics, to do the basics really well, and to be consistent. Again, like I said, not try too many new things. Just choose exercises that has been proven to work, and steadily increase intensity and progression throughout. And then also for me, ticking all the boxes as a conditioning coach. Making sure every day that ticking the boxes. Are my players strong enough? Can they move well? Are they fit? When I say strong, I don't mean strong in the gym chasing numbers necessarily. So it doesn't really matter how much you can squat or how much you can bench press. It's when I say are my players strong enough? Are they dominating contact? The opposite number, can they beat him physically, both on attack and defense? And then can my players move? Can the prop, from the prop to the fullback, can they move effectively in all directions? Can my prop beat his opponent with his feet, with agility? Can he attack space by accelerating into a gap? Can he do just as well as the wing can? So for me, movement is also very important. And then obviously fitness is key. Can the athlete perform high intensity efforts repeatedly for the full 80 minutes? So as long as I'm ticking those boxes, are they strong enough? Can they move? Are they fit? That's important for me, and do the basics really well.
Yeah, definitely. I think you hit nail on the head there. You kind of you stick with the basics, get them, improve them physically, make sure it can transfer to the sport, and that they can repeat it in a game as well. Definitely.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Now, like I'm sure a lot of people, when they look at South African players, like, you tend to produce some, real beasts, some massive guys. Now, it's not always important to put on size on players, on rugby players, but if it is a weakness of theirs and they need to put on a bit of muscle mass, how do you sort of go about that?
Yeah, like you said, in South Africa, we are, well, hopefully we're kind of moving away from that, trying to produce more skillful, more explosive, more players that can attack space. I can say definitely at the Bulls we're attempting that. But yes, in the past, definitely South Africa was known for their physicality, having big players. I think maybe in school still, at school level still, maybe the coaches are too focused on getting players big. I'm not saying that a player shouldn't get big, but obviously there are other aspects of the game that should be focused on as well. But getting bigger for me would be, I would definitely start or implement a good hypertrophy or training for size in the preseason. That's where I would focus on it, getting bigger in the preseason. For me, it's also maybe if you're looking at frequency, how many times a week, because you're in the preseason, there are no games, weekends. You can afford to to train 3 to 5 times a week. Put in some good volume over there with hypertrophy work. What I like to do, what worked well for me as a player, and as well with the team I've worked with. About if you have about four sessions a week, 2 upper body sessions and 2 lower body sessions, with about 48 hours between before training the same muscle group again. So, for example, Monday and Thursday I would train upper body, and then Tuesday and Friday, for example, I'll train lower body. And for hypertrophy, intensity would be 45 to 60% of your 1 rep max, and about 8 to 12 reps, 3 to 4 sets work quite well. And also besides the actual gymming part, I feel diet, your diet plays a big role also in getting bigger. You have to make sure that you're getting in enough protein, good carbs before and after training sessions, and then also with getting bigger, it's difficult with rugby players when it comes to running as well, because rugby is a running based and a contact sport, obviously. So players have to be strong and fit. But with the running, obviously, with running and trying to get bigger, there's a bit of interference there as well. But what I found, if you have enough time during your preseason, for example, 8 to 12 weeks during a preseason, this will now probably goes to amateur or semi-pro players where they have a long season before a long break between seasons. So what I found was if you have a long enough preseason, maybe try and the first 4 to 5 weeks just focus. The main focus is the gym, getting bigger, getting stronger, and then maybe from the middle to the end of the preseason start running. And by that time you've developed some good muscle size and strength in the gym. On the other end, if you don't have that much time, for example, when I go back now with the Bulls, we have only 5 weeks before we break up again, so there's no time to split it up. So if you have to do the fitness aspect, the running aspect, team training, as well as gym. So what I want to try is, I've read some articles about it and did some research, doing the fitness aspect, the team training aspect, the running aspect of the rugby early on in the day, and ending off my gym sessions at the end, or that's being the last session during the day. Just to, what can I say, making sure that the guys in the day in an anabolic state, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely some great sort of take-home tips there for anyone trying to put on size. Thanks for that, Gaff. Now, this is a question we ask all our guests on the podcast. What do you think is the biggest mistake rugby players make when it comes to strength and conditioning?
The biggest mistake? Well, I would say a lot of. Okay, going back to the example of the youngsters I work with, coming from schools, a lot of them train like bodybuilders, if I can put it that way. When I say train like bodybuilders, they train muscles and not movements. For me, training using isolated exercises. I'm not saying that there's no place for that, but obviously maybe in your preseason, early in your preseason, when you're working on hypertrophy. But for me, players, especially youngsters, train muscles and not movements. For me, it's all about performing exercises that will transfer to the field and improve performance. And if it's not doing that, then it's not going to be my program. A lot of the times, my players, when giving the programs, ask me, Gaff, where's the bicep curls, where's the tricep dips and things like that. But yeah, for me, by all means, do it at the end of your program. But for me, especially during an in season, we don't have much time. So focus on the exercises that will transfer to or that will improve performance. So I think that's a mistake that a lot of players make. Also, on that of training like bodybuilders, a lot of them focus on the concentric aspect or concentric contractions during training, not really emphasizing on the other two contractions, isometric and eccentric, which is just as important for performance. And then yeah, a lot of guys also tend to go too heavy, I think. Um, for me, it's technique first, and then and load second. So yes, you wanna lift as heavy as possible to get stronger for rugby, to activate those fast twitch muscle fibers. But at the same time, it's a gradual process, especially if you're training. If you have a young training age, if I can say that. Yeah, I would progress gradually and not rush into load or increase my weight too quickly. And I find that especially guys trying to lift heavier than their mate, um, and yeah, it often leads to injury or poor technique and not activating or not working the specific muscles that we want to work. And then yeah, also maybe another mistake that a lot of players make, we tend to focus too much on hypertrophy and strength. I'm not saying that obviously hypertrophy and strength is very important. It's a foundation for a rugby player when it comes to strength training. But I feel a lot of people, or a lot of players, athletes, don't focus on power training, moving the bar as quick as possible, or jumps or medicine ball throws or ballistic training pliers. Yeah, so those are um, some of the things I had to deal with the players. It again comes down to education, teaching them or educating them as to why we do what we do, and that at the end of the day, it's not about looking good or looking the part. Yes, that's a benefit, but at the end of the day, it's about can the things that we do in the gym, will it help with performance? Will it transfer onto the field and make you a better player? So yeah, I think that's answering the question.
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't agree more with that, Gav.
Yeah.
Again, this is a question that comes up quite a lot because we get more and more sort of wannabe S&C coaches getting in touch with us. And what's your advice for an upcoming strength and conditioning coach in the industry?
Yeah, that's a that's a question that I get a lot from fellow strength and conditioning coaches that are still trying to get into the industry. It's tough. It's tough. It's a small industry. There's not many jobs, if I can put it that way, or all the jobs that everyone wants, or the good jobs, the big jobs. There's lots of competition for it, and sometimes you have to work for lower wages, and on your way, or working your way up. So yeah, so the advice I would give is try and improve your skills all the time. Try and read up or read articles all the time. Try and attend workshops. Do extra courses to improve yourself as a coach. Also try and, if you can, help other strength and conditioning coaches, whether even if you're not gaining anything from it, you're not making any money from it. You never know what might come from helping another coach. So yeah, for me, it's just about trying to improve yourself, to be better than you were yesterday, and then I would also say set a standard for those around you, especially your players. It's important to lead by example. Be on time, have a good work ethic, bring energy. Always bring energy to all your sessions. Sometimes, for some reason, the players might might be fatigued, or some personal problems they might be having at home. But who knows, the energy that you bring to the session might rub off on them and might change the attitude. So yeah, for me, bring energy to sessions and always be prepared. Personally, I like to always, all my sessions are always well prepared for my players, and then go the extra mile. You'd be surprised how players, especially youngsters, how they appreciate if you go the extra mile for them. So yeah, that's basically my advice.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, definitely good advice for anyone looking to get in the industry. Now, we were talking a little bit before, and you've just come back in from a bit of holiday, and you're sort of planning pre-season. I thought it should be a good insight for the listeners, and what sort of goes on this time of year, and what sort of ideas you've got in terms of pre-season and the plan for building into the season.
Yeah, like I said, we've got a slightly shortened pre-season this year. So we have about 5 weeks. So for me, the focus would be with the side that I'm involved with. Is basically making sure that we pick up where we left off in the preseason last year. A lot of the guys again are still new to high performance. So yeah, for me it's about teaching them the fundamentals, the basics, doing it well, and making sure that the guys steadily and develop. A lot of the youngsters that I've worked with, they'll be moving on to the Super Rugby squads as well, which is a good thing. And hopefully I'll be working with them as well. Like I said earlier, the focus is the Super Rugby side, and all trainers work with the Super Rugby side. So let's see. So for the Super Rugby side, this first week we'll do testing, and then go through the program, gym program, and the team sessions, and I think we're going to focus a lot on movement this preseason, which I don't think we did too much last season. So we focus a lot on players' speed, agility, acceleration, top speed. So that's one focus that us as strength and conditioning coaches want to focus on, and then just continue with the gym work. Obviously, the Bulls is renowned for our power game. So we definitely won't let up on that. We'll keep on building bigger, stronger players, more powerful players. But putting emphasis on movement, speed, and agility. And then later on, just before the end of the season, the Super Rugby squad is going on a training camp to George, and they will continue with our conditioning over there up until December the 16th. We guys go on a break during the Christmas period and the New Year, and then we should be back the 4th or the 4th or 5th in January. So that's basically what the planning looks like.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that with us, Gaff. Now, lastly, where can people learn a bit more about you?
I don't have a website. If you probably go onto the Blue Bulls website, there'll be a bit of information on me over there. And then just basically on social media, on Facebook, my name Ghafoer Luckan, you can search for that. And then on Twitter at Gaf_Luckan, and then on Instagram as well. So basically social media, I would say that they'll be the best places, and then on the Blue Bulls website as well.
Cool. Yeah. And we'll share links to that on the notes page. Gaff, thanks for sharing your time with us and giving us some real good insights into work you're doing, and some actual some good training advice for athletes and coaches. Thanks, and all the best for the upcoming pre-season.
Thanks a lot, Jamie. Thanks for having me. I'm real honoured. Thank you.
So I think you'll agree, a really good podcast. Like I said, some great insight into training. Gaff's training philosophy and also some really good training tips that I'm sure you can apply straight away. So thanks, Gaff, for spending the time talking to us, and all the best for the pre-season and the rest of the season with the Blue Bulls. In the meantime, guys, keep checking out rugbyrenegade.com. If you're a member on our online subscription program, we got hopefully an app coming out in the next month or so. So really looking forward to getting that out. So it's much easier to keep up to speed with the training program on the go. And more podcasts to come. So please subscribe to us on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, and give us a 5-star review. Till next time.
Thanks for listening to the Rugby Renegade podcast. For more quality rugby strength and conditioning information, check us out at rugbyrenegade.com. Rugby Renegade, building machines.